Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to Creative Grandma's channel. Today's video is yarn swatches. This is a brand new series that I started where I'm going to go in a local craft store or yarn store, find a yarn, purchase the yarn, and then purchase as many colors that they have in stock and then work up samples. So they finally got a Hobby Lobby in my area in Hazleton, PA, so I thought I'd make a trip down, see the new store. Fell in love with all those beautiful Hobby Lobby yarns, and this one kind of caught my eye because it was a multicolored yarn, and I know sometimes when we look at those yarns and you're seeing the skein and you're thinking, how will that work up? Well, this is called Baby Bee. This is lots of dots. So I'm going to tell you about the yarn. And then I believe I purchased 8 of the different colors they had in stock. This sells for $5.49. And I was lucky enough to hit the day where they had 30% off their yarn. So if you have a Hobby Lobby nearby, make sure you check which days they have those 30% off sales to save yourself some money. So the information on the label, it is a 3.5 ounce skein, 100 grams, 110 yards, 101 meters. It's 60% acrylic, 40% polyamide. It is classified as a number 5 bulky weight yarn. The suggested crochet hook size is an 8mm or a US size L11 or a UK size 0. So for my samples today, I did use the recommended hook size of an 8mm or a US size L11. So let me look on here and see if it says, I believe this was machine wash and dryable. I'm not seeing it written on the label. So here are the symbols on the label. I really do like it better when they put on the label wash and dryable. I believe you can wash it and you can dry it. So there's no X. I believe that's the dryer. Now the yarn is made in Turkey and it's sold by Hobby Lobby. So again, the name of the yarn is Baby Bee, lots of dots, a very nice 5 bulky weight yarn. So let me show you the first sample. Here is the yarn and this is what it looks like worked up. Now I have to say, I expected different results when I started working up my samples, and I noticed that no matter what stitch pattern I used or how I used the stitch pattern, it almost had the same identical look no matter what you did with the yarn or which stitch you used. So that may differ depending on what you're doing, but you can judge for yourself based on the samples you're seeing today. So this is where I single crocheted and then did the double crochet cross stitch pattern. It's a lacier pattern. You can see through it, but you can see how the burst of color is evenly spaced throughout the design. Just a beautiful, I want to say, speckledness of color everywhere. So you don't have short burst or long burst. It's just an all over effect. So that is the first sample. So then I decided to work a circle. I was just playing around. I just did double crochet, and then up here I did some single crochet V stitches, and then I finished with a shell stitch. And you can see how the overall look of the yarn has the same effect. It's just the colors are evenly spaced and speckled everywhere. It's just a beautiful yarn if you want that type of all over look. And this would be beautiful if you found another bulky yarn and maybe for a beautiful rug and then put a solid color border. If you want to make some pillows, this would also be gorgeous. It's a really nice soft feeling yarn. It's a bulky yarn, but it has a nice soft feel to it. And you can see the drape. It has good drape. It has good stitch definition, especially for a bulky yarn. So that is the first yarn. Now I did forget to give you the information. This is article 705 if you order your yarn online. This is from Hobby Lobby, and the color name and number is Kitty Print number 18. Now I'm not affiliated with Hobby Lobby. I just went in to shop and to find a yarn. So that is the Baby Bee. Again, this is the Kitty Print number 18. The next color I chose was the Coral Mint. This is color number 005. Now, when you look at the skein of yarn, I used yarn from these skeins. I only purchased one skein of each color to work up my samples. So when you're in the store, it's going to be a lot bigger skein than this. So just wanted to clarify that. This is not how it looks when you get it in the store. I just used some from all the skeins. So again, this was color Coral Mint number 005. So I'm going to lay the yarn there so you can see how it looks when you're in the store. And then I started working up a textured shell stitch pattern. And again, you can see here's the texture on the stitch, but it has the same look. It's just different colors. Again, you don't have short burst, you don't have long burst, you just have an all over speckled, beautiful look to this yarn. And it does lose the pattern. Like when you look at this sample, you're not really seeing the textured stitches. I mean, I can see it up close really good when I'm looking at it, but looking through my camera lens, the speckle kind of takes away from the actual pattern where you see the detail in the stitch. So you have to remember that when you're crocheting a pattern, if you choose something that really you want to see the stitch detail, you might lose the stitch detail when you're using a yarn like this. So this is the front of my sample, and when you turn it over, you're going to notice the coloring is the same on the back. And then my second sample, I started just fooling around with the square. It's not quite a granny square, just messing around, doing double crochet, single crochet, and then coming back out with a double crochet. So that's the front, and when I turn it over, that's the back. Now the next color I chose is a beautiful baby print with that beautiful pink, yellow, blue, and green. And this is really pretty. And if you like to make those quick and easy big stitch projects, this is a beautiful yarn to work with. This is the color Yellow Green 006. So that surprises me. I expected a different name like baby print or something. So don't let that yellow green throw you off. That is Yellow Green 006, but there is beautiful blues and pinks in this yarn. So let me lay the yarn down. Now this sample, I was doing the Tunisian stitch. I was fooling around with a half double crochet Tunisian stitch, and then I worked a knit stitch, the Tunisian half double crochet stitch, the knit stitch, and then the Tunisian half double crochet stitch. And you can see no matter what stitch pattern, you're getting the all over effect. And I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just how the yarn just has that beautiful, evenly spaced color throughout just about any stitch pattern. And then the top, I just worked in a Tunisian knit stitch. I just think it has a beautiful look to it. This, I think, is my favorite. It's just a simple Tunisian knit stitch, but look how pretty that looks. So that is the front, and when you turn it over, this is the back. Now with Tunisian crochet, and this being a bulky weight yarn, this is really thick. So if you wanted to make pillows out of any of these colors, it would be gorgeous. It's nice, it's thick, it's cushiony, very nice. I can see the stitch definition perfectly. So let me show you my second sample. My second sample, I just decided to do a regular granny square. Again, this is the bulky weight yarn. It's nice and chunky, and that is what a regular granny square will look like worked up in this yarn. So again, that was color Yellow Green 006. The next color they had in stock was this beautiful woodsy color with that green, several different shades of green, and then you can see that mix of brown and white. And this is called Baby Camo, it's for camouflage, and it's color number 16. So let me go ahead and show you the samples in this yarn. So here's my sample, and again, I'm using two different stitch patterns down below and up here. Now the colors are a little closer together because this is a half double crochet where I use solid stitches across, And then I came up here and I used the moss stitch. I used a single crochet, chain one, single crochet, and you can see it changed a little bit where I can almost see diagonal stripes starting to form, but that may change depending on how long or how wide your stitch pattern is. But very beautiful colors of those greens and browns and white mixed together. And then my second sample, I just started crocheting in a circle. This is where I started, and I just continued in a spiral around my work. I didn't join it, I just kept going in a circle. So it's very, very pretty. And again, I just find that it seems like all my samples are the same, the way the color is dispersed. It's just which color you like best with this effect. So again, that was the baby camel, color number 16. The next color they had in stock was the Cobalt Gray, color number 001. Beautiful bright white, light gray, a darker gray. You get that deep cobalt blue and then just a touch of lighter blue. So let me lay the yarn down and grab my samples. So here's my first sample. The bottom I done in single crochet, and then the top I did in double crochet. So these stitches are a little taller. You can see a little bit of difference in how that coloration changes from the single to the double crochet. And then I can kind of see a little bit of a pattern forming where I'm seeing this going up from top to bottom, kind of forming stripes. But again, it all depends on how wide your project is, how narrow your project is, of what overall design you're going to get. Now my second sample, I did a single crochet V-stitch on the bottom, and I did a double crochet V-stitch on the top, a lacier look. But again, you can see how if you lay it down, it's really hard to tell that it's a different stitch. It's hard to tell that this is a double crochet V-stitch and this is a single. The pattern just blends with the colors perfectly. So I'm going to lay the two samples side by side. So again, when you look at the samples, there's 4 different stitch patterns here. This one, I can't tell the difference. It just blends really nice. This one, I can see a little bit of difference of how it's forming those stripes with the single crochet. But then the top where I'm doing the double crochet kind of matches these 2 stitch patterns here. So again, that was the Cobalt Gray number 001. So the next color they had in stock of the lots of dots was this beautiful white gray. It's a light peach color, a beautiful medium peach color. And then you're going into this beautiful, really light mint green. And I'm not sure if I said gray. There's gray, there's white, so beautiful color. And this is Dewdrops. This is number 12. And all the information that I told you in the beginning of the video about the yarn is the same for each color I'm showing. All the information about the yardage and everything is all the same. So that is the skein of yarn I used. So let me show you my samples. So here is my sample. Now this is made using 2 double crochet, a chain 2 and 2 double crochet pattern on the bottom, and then I worked 4 double crochet on top of those shells and did a 4 double crochet repeat so you could see how different stitch patterns look in this yarn. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit because this sample is a little large. So there we go. This is what that looks like worked up. And I think no matter what stitch pattern you're using, it really does look beautiful. So that is the first sample. So then my second sample, I just made a solid granny square where we started like a granny square in the center. And then I just worked solid double crochets, increasing at each corner. And this is what it looks like worked up in a solid granny square. The next color I chose is this gorgeous white, pink, and gray. You can see that beautiful bright white. You're getting a light gray, a dark gray. You're getting a light pink. And it's really hard to see. Here's the darker pink. And then if you look, you're going to see a real light pink right here. It's so hard to see, but there is a beautiful light pink in there. So 2 different shades of gray, 2 different shades of pink, and then that bright white. And this is color Pink Gray number 004. So let's lay that skein of yarn down and let me show you my samples. So here is my first sample. Now with this pattern, I did a single crochet chain 1, but I stacked it. And I did notice it was trying to form a pattern. I just seen this kind of like an arrow shape here forming in the middle of the design. Now I didn't work a lot because I was making so many samples. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. This is the front, and again, this is a single crochet chain 1 stacked. And then when you turn it over, it looks the same on the back as it did the front. And then when I did my second sample, this is a circle that I made, and I did join my circle with this one. So this is what it looks like when you join each round. So again, this stitch pattern I think was a little different than the other ones. If you look back through the video, the colors on the other samples were more regular, where we didn't have the gaps in the color. So I do think it depends on what stitch pattern you're using. Now this sample, I was changing my stitch pattern, so I did notice a difference in how the colors were being placed. I see more of the dark gray here, here, and here, almost like splitting the colors instead of being overall. But with this circle, I was doing cross single crochets, creating that spiral look right here, so that might have thrown the pattern off. So again, it all depends on what you're making. So it started with double crochet, single crochet, cross single crochet, and then I come back out with the single crochet. So I think it did change the pattern placement of the colors. And then if you compare the 2 circles, this is the one I made out of the baby camo, and you can see the difference in how the colors, I think, just look completely different on this sample to this sample. I'm seeing that dark green speckled throughout, where this one is kind of like separating. Here's dark gray, and then here's a patch of white, dark gray, patch of white, dark gray, and then that patch right here. So a little bit difference. So this color here kind of surprised me a little bit. So again, that is the Pink Gray color number 004. So the last color I have to show you is this beautiful, you see bright white, this beautiful blue. You're going to see just a ever so slight touch of light purple or lavender, and then this darker grayish purple color. I'm kind of looking at it, it almost looks like it has purple gray mixed together. And then down here, you're going to see this deeper purplish gray color right here. So very pretty, and this is Seaside Skips number 18. So let's lay the yarn down and look at the samples. So this sample, I used a single crochet in 1 stitch, double crochet in the next, single crochet, then a double crochet. And when you work that pattern back and forth, you're getting a very light textured look to your work. Just a beautiful stitch pattern. If you want to make something, maybe a baby blanket, a pillow, even a rug, it just has a beautiful solid look to it. This is the front of the sample. And when you turn it over, the back looks exactly like the front. So that is the first sample. Now my second sample, I started making a square where I was messing around with the stitches. I did 4 double crochet, like a granny square with 4 sets of 4 double crochet. And then I worked cross double crochet stitches. And then I come out with a round of single crochet. So it seems like when I do a pattern using cross stitches where I'm crossing one stitch over top the other, it kind of messes with the color placement. But when you do the stitches side by side without doing any of those crossover stitches, it seems to have a better placement of the colors. So that is my granny style sample of using this yarn. So let me show you those 2 samples again. And this again was color Seaside Skips number 18. So those were the 8 colors of the Baby Bee Lots of Dots yarn. Again, this is a number 5 chunky weight yarn that I found at my local Hobby Lobby. So if there's any yarns you would like to see worked up, please leave a comment in the comments section. I'll review those comments and see what I can do to do a yarn swatch video of your favorite yarn. Thank you everybody for stopping by today and spending some time with me. I hope you're enjoying this new series. So until next time, stay inspired and happy crocheting.